working with your doctor to stay healthy is as important as seeing the doctor when your program does not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of the staff and management of Talk Radio 1080 WKJK and Clear Channel Radio. Talk Radio 1080 WKJK and Clear Channel Radio are not responsible for any claims, warranties, or guarantees made during this program.
What we're going to do right here is go back. Way back into time.
This is Radio WKLO AM and FM, Louisville, Kentucky.
Welcome back here, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Soundprints on Talk Radio 1080 WKJK. We welcome you for another week from 8 to 9 p.m. We do this program, and hope you're having a great holiday. If you have had a full day off and know that it's going to be a good week for you coming up this next week. 571-1080 is our telephone number, as usual, 571-1080, if you'd like to give us a call for any of our special guests tonight. And we're going to talk about radio and its past, present, and future. And we have lots of guests on the program this evening.
Why would anybody want to talk about radio?
We're going to find out in just a few minutes exactly why would anybody want to, and we're going to do it. So,
what if you got a jawbreaker in your mouth?
do they still have radio? Is that still in existence somewhere?
Not probably in the ways that we all remember it. In the way that we wish it still was. Guests tonight on the program, we have Tom Scoggins with us this evening. Tom works for a while on WLRS.
Right.
And we have Mr. Ed Phillips, who's been on a variety of radio stations. VEZ being the last one.
Gone now.
And I wasn't going to say that.
The first place I ever worked is gone. There is, what is it, a car dealership or something?
It's a funeral parlor.
We made it what it is today.
Ed was working on WAKY, and we also had Bob Klein, who had some days on WKLO. So those were the two big rival radio stations.
I was there 5 days.
That counts.
You were there a lot longer than that.
That counts. And so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about radio.
He's going to try to keep order, but it's not going to work.
Yes, that's what we're going to try to do. I knew that getting into this program. I know.
Remember, you invited us. We didn't ask to come down here.
That's true.
Remember, we were the second, wave of announcers. I'm sorry.
Yes.
God forgive me. The second wave of radio broadcasters. We were the first non-professional staff. At least that's what our bosses
meant, but it looks good. Paper.
Well, the one thing that I thought we would start off with, and because a lot of people that I have talked to played some radio, some of the old stuff from realradio.com, a lot of people didn't know what WKLO and WAKY, what was the big deal? Why were they such popular stations? What was the rival all about?
Because we were there.
Go to the Real Radio exhibit on basically wacky history in the 70s. Where John Randolph.
Yeah, that's good.
Lord. The Duke of Louisville.
That's right, good old Bill Bailey.
And he doesn't drink. This guy. Bob doesn't
Read.
Neither does he.
I want to tell you one thing.
So that's what we want to talk about to get started with. And who wants to begin the whole wacky KLO thing?
Before we go any further, Reed, if you're listening, let's buy a bar and grill and say the heck with the grill.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking of.
Who wants to get started?
Ice up the Coca-Cola, Jeanette, honey. I'm a-coming home.
Yeah, you did it.
Who wants to just get started? What was the big deal between KLO and wacky? How did it start? Yeah.
The big deal?
The big deal.
The big deal was that they were both very good-sounding radio stations, and unique sounding radio stations,
which is something that we don't have a lot of today.
Right.
It's very easy to go from one.
You could go up and down the dial and find wacky just by the sound of it.
That's an interesting point.
Yeah.
And that was done purposely. Technical sound. It didn't matter what kind of radio you had. You could tell whether somebody was listening to Wacky or KLO or the out-of-town stations that taught us so much. You guys remember Ron Britton, WCFL?
Yeah.
I was going to give give up on a career in radio with the obstacles, obviously.
I remember Ron Britton.
You are Ron. No. You look like Ron. But
Oh, don't ever say that.
may I proceed, Your Honor?
I am your father, Luke.
Okay. Can we start this whole thing over?
Unfortunately not.
Wacky
When
did have
when
a unique sound.
It did have a unique sound. And just to mention the Ron Britton bit, I'd given up on a career in radio because of the obstacles. It was just obvious. You can't do it. You can't see. You can't do it. I heard Ron Britton on CFL and had to do it. There was not another talent like that guy, and he didn't know much of the time what the heck was going on. Just to give you a little bit of background on Ron Britton, his show, his shtick was completely out of his control. Sound effects, clips, lines from movies, anything to try to break him up. Actually, it was early laugh-in. So anyway, hearing that talent, I thought,
Sock it to me.
that is too much. That is too much fun. I got to do it.
And so you did. And the first station you worked at was?
WREY. Home of the bad guys.
Folks, don't go down the dial trying to find that one tonight.
Or ever.
Or ever.
Yeah, we made it what it is today.
And that station was over in Indiana, right?
Yep, New Albany.
1290, 500 watts, directional antenna southwest.
Hello, Evansville. Forget it, St. Matthews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not Evansville.
Could not hear him. And
You go out in Oldham County and you heard,
Five-star theater.
And so the thing that we want to, I guess, really get from the old days of radio is that every station had its own unique sound. You could tell it as soon as you hit it, whether you actually knew what number you were on or not. Every station had its own type of sound. And I know on the Real Radio site, the WAKY stuff, they talk about how all the different compression that was used to make the wacky sound. And Ed, 79. There you go.
WAKY.
good morning. Good morning, Bill Bailey.
yeah.
And Bill Bailey was one of the long-time jocks on not only Wacky, but
KLOs as well.
KLO.
May I
He was
tell-
there 11 years.
May I tell you a very brief, like 10-second Bill Bailey story, and then I'll shut up?
No.
I worked with Bailey at CII. Followed him for years, CII. And one of the things that we have to do, just to keep in touch with what this program is all about, one of the things we have to do is adapt. And there's no better way to do that than with a sense of humor. Because if you don't have a sense of humor, you are never going to be able to handle the day-to-day. Everything will be a negative. But at any rate, Bailey one day said, you know, this man knows I've got connections above. And I offered to heal him. Well, he said he couldn't get any more of that free cheese. He didn't want it.
Put your hands on the radio, brothers. You know something about, something about Wacky. I think maybe Wacky got an idea from WABC in New York. New York. And that was the reverb sound.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you tuned in to WABC, if you heard, if they were playing like Yesterday, the song goes, Yesterday, and on WABC it would be like, Yesterday.
So they had a lot of it.
Yeah, they had a little bit of reverb. If you went,
It was a combination of that and feedback from the earphones.
yeah.
Yeah, there were a
And
lot of those.
if you whistled on WABC, just went, it'd go.
There was a lot of those. I remember hearing a lot of those old radio checks where you'd hear the feedback from the headphones.
Yeah, well, they used so much compression, see.
Yeah. 571-1080 is our telephone number, 571-1080 if you have your favorite radio station that either is or is not on the air today. Give us a call and let us know what your favorite station was, or maybe a favorite disc jockey that you used to listen to, and we'll put you on the air and let you talk to some of our guests. So,
Thanks, Michael. You don't really have one of the things we have.
I remember them. I thought they were good as everything.
WKY, yeah, that's FIA now, right?
Yeah. They had a sounder at the top of the hour. It was really good. It was WKYW.
Yeah.
Going bankrupt.
with more kick-ass rock and roll. No, oh, sorry, we're wrong station.
What?
Wrong era.
Well, we could be influenced. All we had to do is take a pretty good radio. We could hear the best of the best. The big markets. You don't have that today. There's not. If stations were still broadcasting, streaming on the net, you'd have that. But obviously, that's.
Yeah, that's been cut back a lot too.
Well, the only radio station that sounds anything like back then right now is WSAI in Cincinnati.
Only radio station left in America, folks.
Yeah.
2:30. As soon as we're done, tune them in. Say hello, little Walter, for me.
Okay!
They actually, Bob, it's serious. That's what they do. They do what was so good years ago. It's done exactly. Well, he even brought some names. Dusty Rhodes, who was big on SAI. I will not say another word.
Marty with the Barty Thompson.
So that's nowadays everything is all. It all sounds the same, no matter where you go. It's all computerized, programmed.
Yeah, man. We just heard Frank Sinatra, and before that we heard Led Zeppelin, and before that we heard the Fugs, and Tammy Wynette before that. We've got 38 more songs coming up, and we're going to play 9 minutes of commercials, and we'll be right back. Actually, I'm in my car right now driving home.
I recorded
Digging on my own voice.
I recorded this earlier today.
Yeah.
I recorded this at
Why
9
are you
o'clock
guys so much
yesterday.
louder than I am? So I'm fine.
You need to get closer to your mic.
Oh.
Now, Tom, you worked in WLRS from when?
Let's see. I started there. I started there in the. Don't do this to me, Mike. Okay.
Sorry, I put him on the spot. Put him on the spot.
1992.
And you had.
What, LRS?
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
And Tom used to do a program called Pillow Talk.
Yeah.
Which was.
I often wondered why you wanted to talk to that pillow.
Yeah.
You never would explain that.
Well, they told me to.
Rock Hudson and Doris Day.
That explains that one.
Get on cell phone.
And it was basically a call-in request show.
Get on.
Dedications and that kind of thing.
Right.
And whenever we get back from our break, since we're about probably a minute and a half up to that break, when we get back, I want to talk about what it was like at LRS at the time and how the station, how you would begin to see changes in the station.
How about liquid leaking into the production room?
Yeah, really.
And then Ed, for
Oh,
you
don't worry
too.
about it. It's just raw sewage.
Ed, you were programmed.
What's up? You remember, Tom? Am I making that up?
No, you're not.
And Ed was a program director at CII for a while, so I'm talking about acting.
Program dictator.
He was working over there at CII for a while, so we want to find out more about that too. And just as a way of reference, for those of you that don't know the guests on the program tonight, Ed and Tom are both visually impaired, as am myself, and Bob has gotten the lovely pleasure of working with Ed and Tom and them throughout the years. So I wanted to make sure we had representatives from KLO
And it's been a
WAKY
pleasure.
and all that good stuff.
So
So
a pleasure with working with Tom. That needs to be said first.
I was going to give you time to do that because I know Ed, we were talking earlier about production work and that kind of thing, and Tom has certainly done a lot of that in the past. And I know I've worked with him back at the Kentucky School for the Blind when he did some production work there, and actually did a radio show for us that we played once a week, and so that was pretty good stuff. I still have it on tape somewhere. So lots of good stuff.
Absolute
Lord
genius.
have mercy.
Absolute genius.
And I bet he don't
Wonderful
even remember the
person, and a
program.
very twisted mind. I'm very proud of him.
But Ed and them have a lot more of the stuff. They know a lot more of the shows that he did back in the day. So we'll talk some more about that too as we go on with the evening here. And if you have any questions for anybody, please feel free to give us a call and we'll get you on there. We'll be back in just a few minutes with more Sound Prints here on Talk Radio 1080 WKJK.
WKLO.
Much more music.
If it matters to you, it matters to us. Talk Radio 1080, WKJK. Your credit card balance. Parental guidance is suggested.
Yeah, I'm calling to complain about that Phil Hendry.
The Phil Hendry Show, weeknights at 10 on Talk Radio 1080, WKJK.
790 WAKY, where the action is.
Welcome back to Sound Prince here on Talk Radio 1080 WKJK. As we're talking about radio and the variations that it has taken over the years with our guests, Ed Phillips, Bob Klein, and Tom Scoggins. And we're going to kind of take this little segment to talk about the change that radio has made, not only just from the sounds of it, but from actually being a DJ at the time and working at those stations. And I was telling everybody that one of the questions that I was asked before doing this program is, the question, is radio still a viable employment opportunity for folks who are blind or visually impaired? If so, why? If not, why not? And do you see a recurring possibility where people can get back into it now that computers have gotten better, the speech has gotten more up-to-date? Is that something that you could see someone getting back into, or maybe yourselves getting back into? So I guess I'll start with Tom and see what your thoughts are on that. And whenever you were working at WLRS, you had started out with the computers hadn't really taken a hold as of yet.
No, they hadn't. I started there working with the equipment that I thought was the best for blind people. In other words, our music was playing off of compact discs, which we loaded by hand, and we just used the regular program logs, that were printed out, and we had a computer read it off to us in speech. Ed and I were working there at the same time. And so that was, I felt to be the best of both worlds. So our commercials were still on cartridge tape.
Yeah, so at that time, the way that station and a lot of other stations back then and still do today is that you have a list of songs that they tell you when to play them.
Oh, we did too.
Yeah.
I mean, we had on the requests, we were all requests, but we only actually took 2 an hour. and
What?
Yeah.
We play what you want to hear. Well, maybe.
So we play what you want to hear because chances are it's on the top 40.
Take a ticket, take a seat.
Yeah, exactly. Chances we play it anyway.
Play what you want to hear as long as it's what I want to hear.
Yeah, as long as it's in our playlist.
But that's the way we did.
And we can beat and mix it. That's true.
We all breathe the same air.
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
That's right. You can't hear him anyway.
I went door number 3.
And so how did they start in that? I mean, was it a gradual thing, or did they just make the change?
When we moved over to the new facilities at Distillery Commons, all this computer stuff was thrown at us. As a matter of fact, when we first went over there, it barely worked. There were holes in the stop sets that you could drive a truck through. And
I think that system was down more than it was on.
Oh yeah, and it was down a lot of the time. And
so when it was down, did that force you to go back to the old way, or did they just
because we did not have cart machines over there.
Yeah. So when it went down, we
had to fire them manually and
I didn't hope when you do that the machine didn't go back into DOS.
Right.
And wait for something else to happen.
So.
Okay, we have Eugene on the line here. Eugene, what's your question or comment?
Comment.
Okay.
You guys, it's great to hear from the voices from our past. I just wish you could have stayed with us. Those days of radio, when I grew up listening to it, Wacky and KLO. Listen to y'all on KLO again tonight. The station has changed. Quality has disappeared, but old radio was the best, and I sure wish we could get it back. Real radio sure helped a lot.
Sure felt like you had a friend on the other end of that.
Absolutely.
On the other end of that invisible wire, didn't it, Eugene?
It really did, and I'm glad to hear that WSAI is still around. We just wish we could have kept one here, just one.
Yeah.
But that's not our choice, I guess, or we have control over it. But you guys, it's real good to hear somebody on there that I knew and have known, especially you, Ed and Tom.
Good to hear from you, Eugene.
And just you guys hang in there. Maybe someday we can get us a best of Louisville radio or something's going.
Hey, those are nice talks with good money.
Yeah, right. That's the problem is the money. Anyway, I just wanted to call in and say it's good to hear y'all. And might get a chance to do it again sometime.
Well, we will try it.
And I thank y'all for your time. I'll keep listening.
All right. Well, thank you, Eugene. We appreciate the call. And Eugene had brought up the stuff that KLO used to do about going around to different high schools.
The question there.
Yeah. And that's something that, you certainly won't see on radio today.
Oh, cowboy.
But the radio stations would actually make their appearances at different dances at high schools and do their live remotes from there.
They do the KSB every year.
Yeah. Oh, did they?
Uh-huh.
Because I know Eugene had talked about
Yeah,
them
I remember
there. He remembered them being there once.
I remember the Hi-Fi Club used to come to KSP.
Uh-huh.
Huh. Interesting. Now we ought to get some phone calls over that. See if anybody was there. We also have Teresa on the line. Hi, Teresa. How are you?
Fine. How are you?
Doing all right. What's your question or comment?
I have a little comment for Tom.
Okay.
I want to know if he remembers the time that Ed left him the call list that he was supposed to play, and it got all screwed up, and he panicked and had to play from the first hour over again. Does he remember that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I had to exchange the 3 o'clock hour for the had to replay 12 o'clock for 3 o'clock.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
That computer we used was actually, it was already a relic by the time we had it, Tom.
Yeah, I know it was.
But I think the problem was with the if I remember, the problem was with the disc or something. It wasn't really anything we could have had any
No,
control.
the squirrel died.
Squirrel.
At least it wasn't a rabbit.
And George Lindsay would call and say, Tom, what time is it?
No, well, we won't get into that.
No comment.
Yeah.
Okay, in other news.
Okay. All right, Teresa.
Bye, guys.
Thanks a lot. We appreciate the call. And we have Tony on the line. Also, Tony, how are you?
Just fine. How you doing?
Doing just fine. What's your question or comment?
Well, main comment is I was glad to be affiliated with WAKY and KLO and LRS both. I'm a local musician, and we did the WAKY album back in '79.
I used to have a copy of that somewhere.
I still do.
I wish I still
What was the cut?
Yeah, well, we just cut an album.
What was the cut that was on there?
I was with a group called Crush Velvet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Crushed Velvet.
Yeah, and it's good, Bill Bailey, Ron Clay, Duke Meyer, a bunch of people, from the old radio.
Hey, I saw a thing on Duke Meyer the other day.
He'll give you a massage real cheap.
Yeah, right.
And
he's going into that.
But it's just good that that this comes on because we don't have old radio.
Yeah.
And we need it.
Yes, we certainly do. In the day when the computers certainly do a lot for us, but they, in the way of radio, I can't say that they've improved it a whole lot.
Well, with everything, music, period, we need real radio.
Well, the problem, too, Tony, is that the listeners have been spoon-fed what researchers think these listeners want to hear. I'm talking about generations younger than us, of course.
Sure.
We know better. But you can make research say anything you want it to say. And if you had never tasted Nestle's Quick, I'd probably have a hard time convincing you to try Ovaltine, or to try it instead of Ovaltine, or whatever you would drink. Just the point being, it's in complete control now, where before it was almost like done by committee, and the listeners were part of the committee.
Sure.
All right. Well, we certainly do appreciate your call.
Thank you very much.
Hold on to that album.
Yeah.
That's one that we actually found a copy of that at KSB in our radio station once, and as soon as we found it, it disappeared. So that's one I always wish I could have held on to.
That's why they call it lost and found, or found and lost.
That's it. It was lost and found and immediately lost again. And Ed, for you, what was it like when the computers came and took over? We got about a minute till the break, so.
When the computer thing was impossible for me. With absolutely no vision whatsoever, I had no screen access. And at that point, programs were being written and marketed, JAWS, and I think MicroTalk already had something for Windows. But I was absolutely and completely helpless to do anything with the machines.
And you probably, a lot of us found that when Windows took over, we just
you wouldn't know what to
time.
hear you on the air, Ed.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah,
but,
that's true.
Sorry.
Do what?
You'll have to pardon me. I have a short attention. Anyway, It was difficult, but I had a lot of help. I had a lot of help along the way for years, going way back further than LR, all the way back to the beginning. John Randolph was a huge help to me. And if you want somebody in your corner, Johnny Randolph ain't a bad guy to have.
Lord.
I'll go to the wrestling match. I'll see you later.
And I know a lot of people just didn't have time to sit down and try to learn an all-new operating system and all that stuff. I mean, that for me was the biggest thing.
Well, you got to remember, one other thing very quickly is it was taboo to play with it.
Yeah.
And I had enough sense to know not to play with it anyway because I couldn't control it. There's no point. I wouldn't learn anything. I wouldn't know what I was doing. So I didn't bother. But no, that was set up by the people who programmed the radio station, and this is with regard to what Tom was talking about. The commercials.
What I'm talking about is the guy who came on before you.
Yes, exactly.
Had to set up all your stop sets.
About that, yes. That's why it sounded good, because he did it, or she.
Yeah, but when they get in there and mess up the clock.
That happened too. It was risky business in the beginning, no matter who was on the air and no matter how well you could or couldn't run the program.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll cover some more here as we cover old-time radio and talk radio and more of that good stuff. I hate to say old-time. That's not classic radio.
Watch out. I'll dance on your grave. Get your hand off my killer.
We'll be back in just a few minutes with more Sound Prince here on Talk Radio 1080.
This is Radio WKLO AM and FM, Louisville.
The touch of your lips next to mine gets me excited, makes me feel fine.
After age 65, almost 3 out of 4. Bill Hendry, weeknights at 10 on Talk Radio 1080 WKJK.
Yesterday, 790 WAKY.
This is the season for good friends and good times. And wherever you find that combination, you'll find plenty of Falls City beer. Falls City, the one with the big, fresh flavor that starts the fun and keeps it going good. Falls City, the beer that belongs with all your good times. This year, give and serve the freshest taste in beer. Falls City, it gives you more.
It's Fall City season, drink Fall City beer. WKLO plays more music.
Yeah, I don't want no marijuana. I don't want no LSD. All I want is a little brew for you and a lot of beer for me. Yeah, pass around the six-pack. Everybody listen here. Yeah, 'cause in Louisville, Kentucky, all the hippies say, come on back to beer.
Welcome back to Sound Prince on Talk Radio 1080 WKJK.
I challenge you to get an Ertles commercial.
There's more stuff you don't hear on radio.
Yeah, man.
No
That
way
is
you'd
the
ever hear
Oxfords.
No way you'd ever hear that on radio.
Well, we had
today,
some good
sir.
local groups around here, too.
Yeah, I know.
That were helped along. That's another thing that wouldn't happen today.
That is J.P.Tac on.
Go ahead, Ed.
I'm done.
Oh.
Yeah, me too.
I thought you were going somewhere with
Have a
that.
wonderful Easter.
Yeah. I thought you were heading somewhere with that.
I don't think so. No, I just mentioned it wouldn't happen today. Local groups?
Yeah.
Hello? You didn't meet our criteria. We only play 40 songs, you know.
Yeah. Well, the one thing about Wacky is they actually had a kind of a mix of different types of music that they would play. Like, didn't they throw in like at certain periods they would play some R&B and just...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We had, on our playlist in 78 at Wacky one time, we had Bobby Bear, Drop Kick Me Jesus Through the Goalpost of Life, and of course the whole Saturday Night Fever soundtrack. And on the other side of that scale was Gary Guthrie's great mixing of the original mix of You Don't Bring Me Flowers. So, I mean, how much different can you get than that?
But Jim was the first person introduced on the air.
Who was? Oh, I'm sorry. Someone's talking to me that I can't see or hear.
Yeah,
and,
you can't hear me. Ed was the first person to play "You Don't Bring Me Flowers" on the air.
Yeah, that's true.
That's interesting.
I'm sure it is, Mike.
We have another caller. What's your question or comment?
Yes, I just wonder if there is going to ever be a time when radio stations will be fully automated. For example,
There are now.
Ed Phillips remembers a time when there was a little, this little computer voice was counting down to this WMIX coming down on the air. And if you get him to, he can imitate that computer voice. I've heard him do it before. And
I gave that up for Lent. I already mentioned Easter. Might as well get another one in there.
Lent or Lent?
Lent.
Oh, my goodness.
Actually, what they did, this is an interesting story. When they did that, when they made the change, they actually took the control board out of the studio. The computer, using Apple Talk, did the countdown. That computer was up on the top floor of the
800 building.
800 building, totally inaccessible to anybody but the engineers. So nobody could touch it, nobody could get to it. And they took the opportunity to do a little spruce-up work on the control board. But when you heard that computer countdown, nobody could turn it off, nobody could change it except the engineer.
Yeah, on the radio station will be born.
A new 1992 model radio.
Well, yeah, I heard Mr. Phillips several years ago when I met him personally. We was on a cart van, or one of those cart buses, and I heard
I wasn't
him
driving, was I?
imitate what?
I sure hope not.
He asked if he was
No,
driving.
you weren't driving.
Okay,
No.
Relieved there. Nobody sued anyone.
I wouldn't mind if you were. I'm an adventurous person, you know. But anyway, I heard you, Mr. Phillips, actually imitate that computer voice, and I thought you were doing a great job of that. The way you said radio.
You're hired, Ed.
I'm not sure that wasn't you doing that computer voice.
Oh, no, that was... just call me Apple.
Were they using an Apple computer to do that with?
Apple Talk, yeah,
I remember the Apple Talk.
Start off at $100 grand and let them talk you down from there.
Yeah, but there was a little, but in the countdown, intermittently, there was a few little announcements that was going on about
They had some public
the
service
station you
announcements.
grew up with and all that goo, you know. It sounded like you something you drew up with instead of grew up with. It sounded like the G sounded more like a D. Oh, by the way, one more thing before I get out of here.
Okay.
I remember, and I guess I'm fixing to tell my age, but I can remember when WKY used to be WGRC.
Oh, yeah.
Which was a country station.
You remember their IDs? You remember how they did it? WGRC Louisville, almost wacky. And going wacky, and they alternated that.
I was little. I was real little. I was about 8 or 9 years old. I was about. Right, I was about.
There's so many incorrect stories about that whole thing. It's great. That's for another time.
It used to be a country station. Jimmy Osborne used to perform live on that thing, and
I think, Butch, they were actually about 20 minutes from bankruptcy.
Yeah.
So they just, they sold, obviously.
I think Jimmy Osborne was the only one holding that together because right after Jimmy Osborne died,
yeah, well,
the station died.
Well, he was going to KLO anyway, and he shot himself 3 or 4 days before he was to begin on KLO.
Well, I think he himself was becoming outdated.
Way before but the 790-1080 rivalry goes back before KLO.
Right.
Interesting. Okay, well, Butch, we thank you for your call.
That was Bruce Newman.
Yeah,
Bruce
sorry about
Newman,
that.
B-R-U-C-E. So Ed Phillips remembers me. He and I were in the 5th grade together.
Yeah, for 12 years.
All right, Bruce, thanks a lot for calling. We appreciate it. You know, the only thing I remember about a station making a big transition like that was when 104 switched. They were playing gospel for a while, and then they went to the ever popular Garth 104 there for a while. Yeah. All Garth, all the time, all obnoxious, obnoxious FM radio. But they did that for a time. And who else was it that did didn't somebody else do the shooting on the air before they went off or something?
Burbank.
On Burbank. Okay, I thought I when he said that I recognized that somebody else had done that same.
Well, you remember
skit
when W-I-N,
With nobody on.
I can't stand it. He's gonna drive me deaf here with that. Please turn it down.
I keep waiting for him to do a baseball thing. 2 out, nobody on.
When
the rest of it never happens.
When WINN went off the air, and they were changing over to LLV, they played the ocean for 4 or 5 days. You remember that?
There it is now.
And what did they switch? What kind of format did they?
They went from country to gospel.
Okay. I was trying to think if they did anything with that ocean or not, if it had anything to do with their format change.
Real quick Wynn story. For those of you old enough to remember, and if you were in the Louisville area, Wynn had a cup of coffee with Top 40 in '66 for 3 months. Brought in all new people, bought expensive Sam's jingles. Wynn ran the same jingles as WABC in New York. Okay, so they spent some bucks. 3 months later, decided to change back.
I don't remember that.
Change back.
Was that
anybody that listened to Roadhog would get that?
Was that when Burt Marker was over there?
Yeah, when he was doing all nights, It's 66. It's from the spring of '66 until the fall of '66.
Was that when they had those jingles that ended on the same note as the record began?
Yep.
Yeah, that was neat.
They put a lot of money into that
was
operation,
neat.
And then just threw it out.
And Burt Marker, or Weird Beard, as he was more properly known, he was the only one over there who could line up those jingles because the guy had perfect pitch.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what an entertainer.
And then they have jingles there for a while. I forget. I think it was Pam's that had jingles that actually sounded a little bit like the top songs that were out at the time. They would play like just a little bit of the song, and then they would drop into their own call letters or whatever. I think that was Pam's that did that. I've heard some of those on LivestreamAmerica.com has a show that they do. It's a once-a-week show where they talk about radio and all the different things. And a lot of people collect those old jingles. And they said that it was a production tape that they wanted somebody to buy the jingles. And it was done by Pam's. And they would actually play a little piece of a popular song, and then instead of it continuing, it would drop down into their calls. And I think the idea was supposedly to connect the station with the top, 40 songs at the time. So if you heard the song, you would naturally think about the call that would be dropped in there right after that. So
there was something Wacky did in the early 70s. They had people go out to Alan Martin Productions and local recording studio here at the time, and still is. They cut parts of songs using they just had drop-ins, but they had people singing that sounded real good. One of them was I found one of my own, a song that was out there, and it said, I got up this morning while I was having my coffee, and this guy sings, I got up this morning while I was having my wacky, and then it just goes right into the song, and you couldn't tell it. I can remember driving along, and I said, I could have sworn that guy said, while I was having my wacky.
Yeah.
And that's how well it was produced.
That goes way back before that, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. Jingle companies also offered the service. I heard something just today, as a matter of fact, that we'll mention in a minute.
Okay. Well, we'll get back to that here in just a few minutes. We'll take us another commercial break and be back with more of Soundprints here on Talk Radio 1080 WKJK.
The biggest breakthrough in getting a
3 to 6.
Here are 2 more albums specially priced at Vine Records. They're regularly priced at $5.79, but now they're only $4.27 at Vine. The first one is their Satanic Majesty's Request by the Rolling Stones. The other special is the Magical Mystery Tour by the Beatles, which contains a 24-page color brochure. Get your copies now for only $4.27 at Vine Records. Broadway at Preston, 28th and Dumanil, and downtown on 4th, north of Chestnut.
Yeah, baby, you love it to death. I know you will.
WKLO. 10 o'clock, 10:30. Hear my
o'clock, 11:30, could be time. Night owl's golden.
You ought to hear these guys singing along with these. I should open up the mic on them one time just for the heck of it and let you hear them. Welcome back to Sound Prince here on Talk Radio 1080 WKJK. As we're in our final segment of the program, we hope you've enjoyed it. It's been fun for me and for all these guys here too, that we get to go back and talk about the way radio used to be before the computers and the automation and the lovely way of making everything sound the same took over. So, all right.
My music. I'm a voice track.
Can you do it?
Tell.
And that's exactly, and I guess maybe we need to talk about that too, because a lot of people don't know how radio is done today. As opposed to, it's not just somebody sitting down in front of the microphone, talking, pushing a button, the CD plays or whatever. It's not done that way. So maybe we need to cover that real quick before we end the program. And we do have Carla on the line, so I guess we'll take the caller first. Hi, Carla, how are you?
Hey, fine. Y'all sound great. I'll stay home more often.
There you go.
First of all, Ed, I want to know if you're still doing traffic reports.
Oh, no, I had to give that up. The doctor said,
Yeah.
stop driving out there. You're going to hit somebody. No, I had been out of the business for several years, actually.
Okay, also, do you all remember, Ed, do you all remember the high school jingles?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
On Wacky? I used to love those.
I've got some of those, but not for Wacky. I had a collection of stuff that was just unbelievable. And when we had a little flash flood situation, 97, I lost all that stuff, but I had some jingles written specifically for Louisville schools. But those companies did that for every station, for every market. So they're still out there, but they're just ones I have now are not for Louisville. But you're right, they were done exactly for. I think Wacky ran those. I don't think KLO did.
Yeah, I think Wacky had kind of had a corner on them in the late 60s anyway.
The ones I remember were Wacky.
Yeah. Well, y'all are sounding great. Tom, you sound wonderful tonight.
Thank you.
Glad you got there.
I'm glad I did too.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
All right,
you guys
Carla.
later.
Thanks a lot. We'll have you back on the program next week.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot. Ed, tell us about radio today and how it's done today. We talk about voice track, but I guess a lot of people don't know what that is.
Voice tracking is a process where the air personality does not do the program in real time. You have the option of listening to the beginnings and the ends of the song. I suppose if you wanted to do it in real time, you could, but the whole object of voice tracking is to save time and to make, frankly, that person available for something else. And it's not all bad. A lot of people, this company, Clear Channel, is given a very bad rap. And that is not the case. Voice tracking would have happened regardless.
Yes.
No matter, things evolve. It isn't like it used to be. It will never be like it used to be. Things change. And voice tracking is one of those products of that change. And it's not a bad thing, especially for maybe smaller stations who don't have a big budget to work with.
And so what you can do with that is you can actually have a jockey sit down and do all of their voiceovers.
Right. They do the
whole evening, but they can do them in an hour or two.
And then go home, drive home, listening to himself on the way home,
Or more importantly, be available for advertising.
It's a two-part issue. It has to do with economy, as well as with. I would say economy is. I say it's a one-part issue. Economy.
Yeah. We also have Mike on the line. Hello, how are you?
Hey, good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
How are you? What's your question?
I said gentlemen. I think it couldn't be us.
That's why the room got quiet.
Well, I know some of the people here. Some I may not know, but.
Oh, I know who you are.
Good evening to Mr. Q Scratch there.
I am.
That goes back a long time ago. No, I've.
You are an elevated woodman.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Covington, Kentucky.
You hear us?
Are you hearing us on our?
Do you hear this signal?
No, I've got too much noise up here. At times I could with the equipment I've got here with my amateur antennas and the like, but Not this evening. The weather conditions don't permit. But so many memories of Louisville radio. And of course, I have not heard the discussion, but I thought of so many of the different disc jockeys, as they called themselves in the day, that were in the Louisville area. And of course, Gary Burbank, who was there for many years, is still up here.
Can I ask you something?
Yes, sir.
If you can't hear us, how are you calling us?
I called you on the
telephone. How do they make those things?
No. I mean, never mind.
You must have heard about the show through the internet.
That's affirmative. I did hear about it through the internet.
Mechanical wonders that we'll never know.
Are you working for NASA now?
No, I'm working for the Internal Revenue Service. I got
the same thing.
Covington, we have a problem.
One small step.
Yeah, I couldn't make any money on radio, so I went to work for the Internal Revenue Service.
Wow. So you remember a lot of those the older guys that used to be there.
I remember.
I worked with this gentleman at a totally different kind of radio, and I'll make this very quick. We did the closed circuit, or the subcarrier circuit information radio service here.
Oh, yeah.
And this is Mike Wagner, who, I hope you didn't mind giving me a nice name.
No, I don't mind at all. Of course, I worked for a couple of years at WIKI in Carrollton.
Oh, that's right,
They were
yeah.
top 40.
You were the only... Okay. I was going to say the only talent. I may as well finish this.
No time for opinions.